Welcome back, straight for the couch. Unless you've been living under the rock the past couple weeks, you know that Donald Trump fired FBI Director James Comey. But we got a plot twist. Now we have as special counsel appointed the former FBI Director, Robert Mueller. So, what do we think about this?
Mueller?
No, I think this is hilarious. Because Trump cannot escape this. There's, like... Let's be honest here. We're just going to break it down for you. If indeed he was innocent, if indeed he did nothing wrong, why not just sit still, be quiet, and just let the investigation play out? If you're innocent, you're not going to find anything.
Yeah, the facts will be on your side.
So why make a stink about it every single freaking time you get on Twitter? Yeah. Why is all this stuff coming out that you told James Comey that, hey man, calm it down, let it go?
His Twitter has been blown up today too.
Not only
he's calling it a witch hunt, saying no politician has been treated like this in the history of ever. And yeah, so I know he's nervous. I know he's stuck in a corner.
He's nervous because he freaking did something sketchy. I don't know what he did, whether it's the Russians or whoever, the Chinese. I don't give a damn. He did something sketchy. That's the only reason why you would fire an FBI director.
Yeah. And he can't fire Mueller, because if he does, he's done for. That's grounds for impeachment, because that's borderline obstruction of justice.
He's already done it.
And aside from that, not even the whole Russia situation. You heard about what happened between him and the Russian ambassador.
Oh, that was nothing.
Meeting where...
Let's be honest here. He didn't really do anything. Anything incriminating. This is coming from a guy who puts more memes against Trump on his Facebook than not. But let's be honest here. There was nothing really too sketchy. It was just sketchy the fact that it was between him and a Russian, ambassador. That is sketchy in a sense, but I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
The fact is, this investigation is because of stuff before. It deals with Flynn. The fact that you hired a guy with Russian ties. That's sketchy to me.
Mm-hmm. The thing about it, and again, you just touched on, there was also the story about he met with the Russian ambassador, and there were some things said in that room that, people were saying that, it was getting leaked, that there was some top secret information getting disclosed. I think that was probably more of a verbal slip-up, maybe, where, he was talking about something foreign policy-wise and maybe gave a little more away than he was supposed to. But, as the president, you get a lot of leeway there as to what you say with foreign leaders. But this whole thing behind the scenes with Comey, and it's become such a big thing now, back and forth between those two. Something is rotten in Denmark with that. I mean, and to just overlook it and act like, you got all these Trump supporters that are just diehards and will defend him no matter what. If Hillary was in office right now, what would they be saying? I mean, come on.
In jail.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, at least he didn't email her or whatever.
And from the neutral point of view, and if you don't want to assume that he's guilty or innocent, then just look at it let the investigation play out. Why are we trying to say he's guilty or not? Just let the investigation play out. There's some things that are sketchy going on. I mean, obviously from an outside neutral point of view, you can tell that. Yeah. But maybe he's innocent, maybe he's not. But to just defend him and go oh, there's nothing. There's no smoking gun here. Nothing's going on. Come on, people. Clearly something's a little fishy here.
I'm more entertained by the fact that Michael Flynn went to 4 different government agencies trying to offer up his testimony in exchange for immunity, and he got rejected every single time.
Because there's something going on, but it's funny
and
because
they probably already know, whatever he's going to admit to doing, whatever shady dealings or collusions or what have you may be going on. I mean, it may be all speculation right now, and like Justin said, let the facts play out, because if they really do have nothing to hide, nothing's going to come of it.
So yeah, pretty much like you were saying. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But my thing is, and me and Justin were talking about this as I was on the way here, his supporters. Dude, his supporters, literally this man could throw a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the Pope and they would still bow down to him. I don't know why. Maybe I'm hungry. I just got off work. But I don't know why I brought peanut butter and jelly. But seriously, that's how loyal they are. It's a level of loyalty that's almost Charlie Manson levels. I will go out and kill for you, Mr. President. it's interesting to me, and like, I'm not saying all the supporters because I hate to blanket like a broad spectrum of people because they're the people that virtually voted for him just because he was Republican.
Well, there's the diehards.
But there's the yeah, exactly. There's a line. There's a line right down the middle.
And there's also the people that are like, well, we're on the conservative side of the fence, so we're just going to also prop them up. You know.
And that's cool, but I mean, there are these people like you were telling me. I mean, it's just crazy. Like that. Like everything he does. I swear, you can get on Facebook. You can get on any like just news stream and comment section, and like. I've seen, I think it's a scandal a day at this point. And it's almost like, oh, well, you know, we don't know the facts. Or, you know, I mean, let's take a look at, look at these libtards. They're trying to get Trump again. They won't give the man a chance to make America great again. Newsflash, idiot, the country's already great, number one. And number two, I mean...
I beg to differ.
Stop defending him! Stop freaking defending him every step of... Just admit the fact that he's a sketchy guy.
Well... And this is the other thing I don't get is because people always fall into one of these camps where they just feel like they gotta defend the party line, defend their guy. But it's like, if I voted for someone and all this stuff was happening, I wouldn't defend him. I'd be like, what the hell, man? I voted for you and you're like doing all this dumb shit. Like,
if Bernie Sanders was sitting in the office right now and he was doing this dumb crap like Trump was, I'd be like, no, get this guy out of here. Like, what the heck is he doing?
Yeah. And I think part of the reason why they're so fervent in their support of him falls back also on something that we touched on earlier, is he was pretty much the first person to appeal to a lot of people that were pretty much ignored in society. People living along the Bible Belt, you know, in places that were pretty much forgotten, you know, where poverty ran rampant, you know, people experienced health issues everywhere. You know, whether it be heart disease, diabetes, things like that. And, you know, all those forgotten people were tired of hearing the same old crap from the same old politicians. And lo and behold, here comes someone that is finally starting to speak up to some of their issues. You know, but from what we can see, he didn't really stick to his...
But here's the funny thing about it, is since Trump's gotten in office, has he really done much other than buckle the establishment anyway?
He really hasn't.
I mean, look at the healthcare thing. He doesn't even know what's in his own healthcare bill. He's just like, oh, let's get a win. Let's, like, replace Obamacare. But he doesn't even know what's in his own damn bill. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, the guy doesn't know.
Let's be honest here. I mean, yeah, and, you know, like I said, everybody deserves a voice. This is the land of the free, they say, you know. But my thing about it is... Just because the guy you voted for, you know, is in office doesn't mean everything he does is golden. Like, you got, like, at some point, and I think that's the problem with this country, and you saw it in the election. People were just voting to vote because, oh, well, I'm conservative, or I'm liberal, or I'm Democrat, or I'm Republican. And it's almost like, well, I don't want to admit that I voted for an idiot. I don't want to admit that I... you know, might have been wrong or whatever. And I think that's a lot of what people think about. And that's not the case. Like, you're not wrong because you voted for a president. You're wrong for keeping these idiots in office. No, there's nothing wrong for voting for him. I will say it. There is nothing wrong for voting in an election. In fact, that is your American right as a citizen to vote for the president. Yeah. That doesn't mean you're wrong because he's doing bad stuff. And now And if I don't defend him, or if my friends that voted against him are trashing him, that I have to defend him. No, that doesn't mean that. Just admit the fact that, yeah, he did some crazy stuff. And I've seen, actually, people that were on the fence, you know, Republicans on the fence, that are actually coming out and saying, like, this is just a mess. Like, and it's great to see that, that we can admit that. Because, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. If, like I said, if Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, any candidate that I would have voted for in the election, was in office and they were doing this, I'd be online with the same statuses, same messages, same articles saying, get this guy out of here.
Yeah. It's just astonishing, all the headlines that we come across from day to day now. It just feels like it's stranger than fiction, man. Because it just feels like it's a problem snowballing and snowballing. And there's like no repercussions. And which is, you know, the reason why I'm so excited to see how these Senate hearings and how these congressional hearings follow, because I do want justice to take part in this. You know, I want justice to be carried out.
One of the other things I want to touch on as it relates to the Trump-Russia investigation and the special counsel is that you're having the establishment Republicans now at a point where they're thinking they really can't defend him anymore. I mean, you saw John McCain coming out comparing this to Watergate.
Yeah.
That's pretty telling there. You don't see, and the fact that the special counsel got approved shows you that that's not something the Democrats could have done on their own.
No,
in government.
because they're not a majority in either, House or Senate. So that was the Republicans saying, no, we got to do something.
Yeah, the rank and file Republicans, like they've been having to toe this line the whole time. They're like, because we can't. They feel they can't come out too strong against Trump because then they could just lose their voters, right? Because he's part of their party. The voters put him in. So it's been really interesting to see how those Republicans in Congress have dealt with this whole mess.
Yeah, but and I was thinking about this. I think we kind of joked. We were joking about this. I was talking about this, and one of my friends in New York, she and me were talking on Twitter, that it's like, well, if Trump does get impeached, who's his successor? Mike Pence. Do we know if he's any worse or any less? And then let's be honest here, even if it trickled down and he somehow got impeached, then it's Paul Ryan.
I think Mike Pence is also part of this investigation, though.
He might be, but I think honestly, let's be honest here. If the chopping comes down, it's not going to be Mike Pence. It's simply put going to be Donald Trump. If something does happen, if an impeachment happens, if there has to be a resignation, and that means indefinitely Mike Pence would essentially become president.
Right.
If you know anything about Indiana, he's probably maybe even slightly worse.
Right.
Well, it's open to debate whether or not he's worse policy-wise, but at least we would have someone in there that is more stable and actually acts like a president. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you wouldn't be having this clown show.
He actually does have executive experience. So
where every single day it's something else. The clown show would end.
Yeah, it wouldn't be such a mess for CNN and Fox News and all the other news agencies that are just sucking this up and spreading this about.
So that just about does it for this episode of Couchside. Stay tuned. We're going to come out with more political videos, more news videos. And make sure to subscribe to LitTube and check out our blog and our Patreon. We got some new content up.
Take care.